Afternoon here at Hoover Metropolitan Stadium as we continue on with day number 2 as the top 4 seeds making their way to Hoover Metropolitan Stadium, and we have the number 2 seed, the Arkansas Razorbacks, bringing their bats to Hoover, Alabama to take on Ole Miss, a team that had to win a thriller yesterday to move into the double elimination portion of this magnificent event. And when I speak about magnificent, we have had dynamite games all throughout this tournament. Earlier today, the Georgia Bulldogs, a walk-off 2-run blast off the bat of Cam Shepard with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning, made it by that much. And Georgia walks off the Aggies, who had a walk-off win themselves yesterday. This is what our bracket looks like at this point. Texas A&M will face the loser of this one in an elimination game tomorrow. Georgia moves on to the winner's bracket. They'll play later tomorrow afternoon. And, of course, coming up tonight, we've got a dynamite night session. Vanderbilt, Auburn, Mississippi State, and LSU. Dave Neal, Chris Burke, Ben McDonald, my All-Americans, my big leaguers. Glad you could join us today. And, Ben, I'll start with you. Can you summarize what this tournament's been through a day and a half already?
Awesome, in one word.
Yeah.
I mean, look, all 5 games decided by 2 runs or less, and you get 2 walk-offs. You know, Texas A&M walks it off yesterday, and then they get walked off by Georgia and Cam Shepard. I don't know if it gets a whole lot better than this.
Yeah, some great pitching, some great timely hitting. Just been a lot of fun to this point. Our first chance to see Arkansas, and they swing it about as well as anybody, not just in this conference, in the country.
No, they really do, and there's a lot of depth to this lineup, but they got star power, and maybe the most exciting player in the country is Casey Martin, their shortstop. He is must-see TV, folks. It is elite tools, and in a pretty small package. He has light tower power, 15 home runs, is 3rd in the Southeastern Conference. He's 2nd in the league in total bases, 5th in slugging. He's got a 70 arm, maybe the fastest player in the league. And for my money, the best prospect in the sophomore class.
Yeah, he can flat out play. I can't wait to see him here in this tournament. Now, Ole Miss yesterday, they survived 2-1 victory to advance to this. What do you make of Ole Miss here in the postseason? It's been a kind of a mixed bag for them.
No, it really has. I mean, they're trying to get that offense going. We knew they had a really veteran offense, an offense quite capable of scoring a lot of runs, but the struggles has been there for that offense. Only put up 2 runs yesterday, but they won. Remember how they finished the schedule. They only go 1-5 down the stretch. They needed to flush that. They did that yesterday and picked up a victory. So you're hoping if you're an Ole Miss fan, they can get that offense going a little bit, and they're going to need it against Arkansas because you know Arkansas is going to put up some runs.
Yeah, Will Etheridge pitched so well for Ole Miss yesterday. Now this Rebel team will try to get another performance like that on the mound, but they'll face Patrick Wicklander, the left-hander, getting the ball. He was came out of high school as one of the top 30 pitchers, left-handed pitchers in the state of in the country, 5th in the California high school ranks. And he will look at an Ole Miss lineup that has a tough out at the top, and Thomas Dillard hitting over 300. Young man, as this will be his 4th consecutive game as the leadoff. Then Gray Kessinger, who is tearing up SEC pitching, will hit 2nd, 338 overall. Keenan, who's Mr. RBI, Zabowski, Olenek, Johnson, Tim Elko getting a start over at first base today. Servideo and Justin Bench also, he will play in place of Jacob Adams out at second base today. So we are just about set for some baseball. Thomas Dillard against Wicklander. That one is in there for a strike to start things off. Wicklander making his 13th start. His 20th appearance overall.
Yeah, Wicklander's a guy that didn't begin the year for Arkansas in that weekend rotation, but Cody Scroggins struggled a little bit, so Wicklander got an opportunity about the midway point in SEC play, and really has been pretty good.
Yeah, Wicklander, top 300 player coming out of high school, ranked as the 30th best left-handed pitcher by perfect game. He went, strikeout, starts things off well. The defense behind Wicklander today looks like this. Nesbitt and Ezel at the corners. You got Martin and Kinley up the middle. Franklin, Fletcher, and Kerstad in the outfield.
I highlighted Casey Martin in the open. The downside of all that high-end talent is he's still a little raw playing shortstop. 20 errors, leads the Southeastern Conference. But it's been a solid defense. The Martin Ayers situation has dragged their fielding percentage down. But there's some playmakers out there. Dominic Fletcher can really go get it in center field.
Gray Kessinger skies it out to center field. Dominic Fletcher makes the catch. That'll be 2 down, and I'll get us to the 3-hole hitter in Tyler Keaton. It is a warm day. Blue skies overhead. Forecast this week looks outstanding. Mother Nature owed us one after last year here at the baseball tournament. Rain delay after rain delay.
Well, it also owed us one after the season we had in weather this year around the SEC. It was crazy down in the southeast.
So Keenan, 13 home runs on the year and 60 runs batted in for the Rebel third baseman, the sophomore out of North Carolina. Boy, got great size, 6'3", 240. He's got a little Chipper Jones in him at the plate.
A little open stance.
Yeah. The number 10 also kind of helps.
Yeah, Chipper used to go open and then do the toe tap. He kind of hangs with that lead foot.
That hit him. Well, that hit both of them. Opitz behind the plate got the shrapnel from that one.
Yeah, off the elbow of the wrist of Keenan, and then down into the midsection of Opitz. That ball did some damage.
So Opitz will wear that one for a little bit, shake it off. And now Cole Zabowski, who's the designated hitter. That is the 8th hit batter in 55 innings of work for Wicklander. Zabowski, the junior out of Lawrenceville, just outside of Atlanta.
Well, that's kind of, the knock on Wicklander. I mean, it's big-time stuff. I mean, you don't pile up 77 punch-outs in 55 innings if the stuff's not good. But you mentioned the hit by pitches. He's also got 34 walks. So he can get astray sometimes. He's going to walk a few guys from time to time, but the stuff is outstanding. Fastball is going to be 89, 93. We're probably going to top out a good breaking ball. He'll drop a slot a little bit to the left-handers. And a changeup he'll use against the right-handers.
Is this a good start in high school for Wicklander? Threw a no-hitter while striking out 18. Is that a good day? I don't know.
That's a pretty good day. You only faced 21 in high school, right?
Yeah.
Get 18 of them yourself. You boys take the day off. I got it.
A 1-2 on the way to Zabowski. That one is up and in. Ole Miss comes into Hoover as the reigning SEC tournament champion. They lost their first game last year to Auburn. Then they reeled off wins against Georgia, Auburn, and Texas A&M before beating LSU 9-1. So the hit by pitch goes for naught. Keenan stranded. Half inning in the books here at Hoover. Ole Miss fans making their way to Hoover Metropolitan Stadium on a warm day. Got to bring your glove. You got to love any child that wears a Braves hat. Man, getting the ball today, Zach Phillips for the Ole Miss Rebels. 4-2 on the year. His 12th start of the season for the junior left-hander. But we've seen a lot of left-handers so far. 2 years at Grayson Community College before coming to Ole Miss.
How about that?
Thought about going to Miami.
How about a little competition cheer in 5th and 6th grade?
I'll be honest with you.
That's something you don't cheer.
I was going to say, I have not ever seen that in all the bio information over the last 20-plus years of doing this tournament. But Trevor Ezell will lead things off for this Arkansas team. 3rd in the conference in batting average. Tied for 1st in home runs with 77. Casey Martin in the 2-hole. Goodhart at 352. Heston Kerstedt. Berg, I was talking earlier today with you. It seems like Heston has been kind of left out in all these discussions, but he's having such a solid year as Ezell is retired on 1 pitch.
Yeah, coming back off a freshman All-American season, Kerstedt was the conference freshman of the year. And a little bit of a slow start, but the numbers are fantastic.
Yeah.
14 homers, 44 ribbies, hitting .336, but has gotten lost in the shuffle a little bit.
He will hit 5th today. Now it's Casey Martin, our first look at the talented shortstop. Played third base last year, and this Arkansas team that was, I know it's been talked about over and over, but just it's an amazing story that they were one out in foul territory, one catch away from bringing home some hardware. And then you hit on a little bit about the psyche of a team. What does that do to a group of guys who were so close to everything you fight for all year? Everything you do is geared toward that moment,
sure.
Right?
And you have that moment in your hands. Yeah. It is there. And it wasn't a surprise after the ball wasn't caught they got blown out in Game 3 because the emotion of knowing what was there just couldn't recover. And you wondered how they would respond this year, but they put that to bed quickly, did the Arkansas Razorbacks. I mean, the offense just as explosive as it was last year.
There's a walk to Casey Martin, and now it's Matt Goodhart, the designated hitter.
You know, and Casey Martin is one of those guys you don't want to walk. Although, I know you're surprised by it, Berge. He doesn't steal a lot of bases, only 10 bags on a year. And when you talk about elite tools, elite speed, he certainly has it. And we all think he's quite capable, one of those guys. Because he gets on base so much, he could easily be a 30-bag guy.
Yeah, the lack of stolen bases doesn't make a lot of sense.
Tim Elko thinking about throwing down to second to get Casey Martin, and bobbled it just enough. The only out was over at first, so Goodhart is retired, 2 outs in the inning.
Yeah, head coach Mike Bianco for Ole Miss inserting a couple of guys into that lineup, I think, just trying to shake up the offense a little bit. Of course, the main guys are in, but Elko's getting an opportunity, bench as well.
He's been doing some things against lefties here lately where Adams has struggled so much against left-handers, and the freshman Graham, he's given a blow today against the lefty who's starting. So kind of a right-handed lineup that he's going with today, even though the numbers don't look great for the 2 guys he's inserted.
Boy, Dominic Fletcher. Here comes Casey Martin. The throw will go to second. Boy, Martin got a great jump. Made it home easily. It's 1-0 Arkansas.
Well, now the misplay by Elko looms large right there. Unable to get the lead runner on the last ground ball. Casey Martin gets to scoring position, and Dominic Fletcher kind of hits a cue ball in the 6 hole, and you got no shot to throw this man out. He can absolutely fly. Every tool in the toolbox right there for Casey Martin you can see on any given day. Fletcher gets the Hogs off to a quick start.
And I tell you, Elko over at first base, you're right. That's the key to that. That ball's bobbled at first. He could have not turned a double play, but at least got the lead out in Casey Martin. And you get a bloop right off the end of the bat. Little bleeder goes through, and 1-0 all of a sudden.
Aston Kerstad steps in with 2 outs. Kerstad, over the last 15 games, almost hitting 400. He's at 393. And he's been on a power run. 5 homers in the last 15 games as well. 2018 SEC Freshman of the Year. $14 home runs on the year for Kerstad. That is good enough for 5th in this league, and that one's up and in.
Yeah, I think one of the most impressive things about this Arkansas bunch is you came back from the start of the year and you said, well, if Martin and Kerstad make jumps and become the first team All-American players we all think they'll be, then they won't struggle to find offense after losing all those players.
Throw over to first, and that'll get Ole Miss back to the dugout. But Arkansas does strike first. They get a walk from Martin. Dominic Fletcher with the RBI single. Easy to tell who they root for. Arkansas fans here at Hoover Metropolitan Stadium. 1-0 Hogs down on the field, as is the case all weekend. Mike Rooney. Hey, Roons.
Hey, guys. I'll tell you, sometimes the story we think about isn't the real story. I think about Arkansas. You know, we thought, would the stars be big enough? Would there be a hangover from being 1 out away from a national title? Well, you know what the story is this year? This may be Dave Van Horn's deepest roster, and now the stars are getting going in the second half. This is a scary club from here on in.
I mean, you look at the numbers, Roons. We're showing them right now. Last year, that team could slug with just about anybody, and this team's a little bit better in so many categories.
Yeah.
That is scary.
I'm in tied for the league lead in homers. I don't think anybody would argue that it's a top 3 offense with Vanderbilt and Mississippi State. And I was talking about it before the end of last inning. Martin and Kerstead did not get off to great starts, and the club still held their head above water. But once those two really got rolling,
oh, it was a difference.
Yeah, they have just finished with a serious kick.
Well, you knew you had the big three coming back, but I don't think anybody projected when Ezell transferred over that he would have the kind of year he had. Goodhart has been phenomenal, too. I don't know if they saw that coming. Kenley, another one that had an outstanding year because you knew Fletcher and Kerstead, of course, Casey Martin were going to do that thing, but it's been a kind of a perfect storm for Arkansas in some ways, and some guys that they just didn't know what they were going to get have really had outstanding years at this point.
Ooh, wow. Olenek just got buckled. Couldn't tell if that caught him around the knee, but it definitely took him down to a knee.
Boy, that's a young man that has been beat up. He's been hit on the hip, and that's right at the bottom of the knee. And the blade is what I call him. It's hard to hit him. I mean, really. But that one hurts.
Boy, he's still trying to shake that one off a little bit.
Oh, it's a great time to go first move.
Yeah, but it's tough to get down there on one leg.
Yeah.
You can go first move, but they might throw you out by about 10 feet. Come on.
It's the best. That's the best time. Just go right now. No way he's picking. That's it. You had it.
And that one gets past Opitz, and that will allow Olenek to casually stroll down to second base.
After I got hit just like that, I'd be waiting on that ball to advance to the next base.
I'm telling you, man, you get hit in the lower extremities, just milk it all you can, and then go first move. It works every time.
I hear you.
Here's Cooper Johnson, a junior from Illinois. 269 on the year, the junior catcher. He's been in behind the plate most of the time. They've used Thomas Dillard, by the way, behind the plate a little bit. Thomas might be projected as a catcher moving forward in his baseball career, so trying to just keep him in that loop.
Well, he's certainly got a catcher's body.
Yeah.
And a linebacker body, too.
I like to see him lead blocking for somebody.
Patrick Wicklander, his 13th start of the year, 4.69 ERA on the bump for the Hogs today. He's hit two batters.
We got an early scramble here, Ben.
Yeah. Well, Wicklander's one of those guys. I mean, he can dominate you, but he's also a guy who can get in trouble quickly. And I think offensively, you got to be ready to hit. You have got to be ready to get on the fastball.
To third. Nesbitt across the diamond. Well done. That'll keep Olenek at second base.
The freshman Nesbitt has been one of those players that you just didn't know exactly what you were going to get. And he has been fantastic all season long. Really good first step there on the crossover. Accurate throw across the diamond. Nice job there. I love his initial depth to make sure he gives himself some range. And one of those players that has been a fantastic contributor to this club in his first go-round.
That'll get us to Tim Elko. Elko making just his 6th start against SEC competition. It's his 17th start overall this year. 161 on the season, but 063 against conference pitching. Couple of home runs, 8 runs batted in. Olenek hit by a pitch right on his knee out at second base. That one is lifted out of play. Ole Miss has won back-to-back games. They had lost 6 in a row. And then they tried to avoid getting swept at Tennessee. They won game 3 there, came to the tournament yesterday and picked up a win. But they had lost 6 in a row. He's done that 2 other times in his career, Mike Bianco. He's never lost 7 in a row in his 19 years at Ole Miss.
Yeah, and you go back 3 weekends ago, they went into Baton Rouge, knocked off LSU 2 of 3, and they were in that conversation like we talked about yesterday to host a regional in Oxford. And all of a sudden, Mississippi State sweeps them. They lose 2 of 3 at Tennessee, and they kind of fall out of the mix. And that's what his goal was coming in. They're safely in the NCAA tournament. He wanted to build some momentum for what's coming up.
Two and 2 on Elko. He goes down swinging. Second out of the inning.
It's been mostly fastball, breaking ball. We told you about Wicklander's changeup, and it's a good one. And again, 77 punch-outs in just 55 innings pitched. He can rack them up.
Now it's Anthony Servideo to step in, the sophomore from Jupiter, Florida. 282 on the year, has 1 home run. Out to center field where Dominic Fletcher broke in and had to make a difficult catch. Boy, the wind is howling in the outfield. That may have been part of the issue, but the Rebels will leave Olenek at second.
Let's take a look at this Arkansas offense. Tied for the league lead in home runs with 77. Trevor Azell, the grad transfer, has made an impact. Casey Martin, we talked about him, one of the most explosive players in the country. There you see him hitting an inside the park home run. Dominic Fletcher gives it to you with the glove. A monster year with the bat as well. And then the big fella, Heston Kjerstad, just that imposing presence right there in the middle of the lineup. This lineup can hurt you in a number of different ways, but the long ball is at the top of that list.
Yeah, 98 home runs, so you thought they were losing a lot. They did lose a little bit last year and hadn't hit nearly as many home runs. Of course, Florida hit 100 last year, but the runs per game even better this year than last year with less home runs.
77 is the top number in the conference this season. Then you got a guy like J.J. Blade that's setting school records, leading the country in home runs. You know, I hate to say this one thing about the pro game coming to the college game, but we're starting to see, even though this year the numbers, more strikeouts are up. A chopper to Elko, underhand toss, and Phillips will step on the bag, 1 out. You know, power pitching, home runs, that's pro baseball, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part, the guys are going 4 for 5 at the plate or 3 for 5 aren't there anymore. It's okay to go 1 for 5 if you have a 2-run shot.
The game's changing, you know, and you're right. Whatever happens at the big league level seems to always trickle down. And, you know, with the swing path changing over the years a little bit and trying to get the ball in the air, it happened. And that's why we set records in college baseball in strikeouts for the first time in Major League Baseball history last year. More strikeouts than base hit in 130-something years. Batting averages at the big league level continue to go down.
There is Christian Franklin. Kessinger plants the foot. Stop. I mean, it's routine. It is routine for Gray Kessinger.
Stop it. This one was really difficult. He's got to take a deep angle to get to the baseball. Again, the speed of the field dictates the angle, so he's got to go deep to get there. Kind of an awkward hop, a lightning fast transition, and credit Elko, who there's a little space there, Ben.
I thought I saw space.
Was it on when he first caught it? It definitely came off at some point. We're not going to get a review there.
No.
Wow.
That's surprising.
Too late now.
You know, but going back to that conversation, last year was the year of the pitcher in a lot of ways. You look at the no-hitters thrown in college baseball. We set the all-time record, 23 no-hitters.
Casey Oppitz steps in.
Right. Franklin, just a freshman. You got to be. He's safe. He's safe even with the foot on the base. He beat it. You got to be hopping up and down telling your manager, right? Coach. We've seen that from some guys this week. That was a missed opportunity by the Razorbacks right there.
Opitz, 257 on the year, couple of home runs. Yeah, we've reviewed a lot of plays in this tournament. I'm surprised that one just...
Taylor Smart, the first base coach, has a little bit of blame to share with that one. You'd think he would have at least looked into the dugout for an inquiry there from his skipper. They're going to regret that one.
Inning is over. Opitz strikes out. 1-0 Hogs. Well, it's always lunchtime for Chris Berg. Surprised he didn't go down and get him a little bit of that right there. That is solid.
What do we call that?
I'm not even sure.
That's called 5 pounds of weight if you eat it.
Berkey loves going to dinner with me right now. I'm not eating anything, so I get a couple bites, and he gets my meal too.
He's the best date in town. I'm just telling you right now.
Cheap date, huh? Eat his food and yours.
Go hungry.
Here we go. Moving to the top of the third inning. Arkansas leads 1-0. Justin Bench, who gets the start at second base today to lead things off. Freshman out of Reddington Beach, Florida. Bench, a young man who they think's got a ton of talent, trying to get him some work down the road. Just a young man that will certainly take this experience to the SEC tournament, use it down the road. So he goes down for the first out of the inning. Now it's back to Thomas Dillard. Thomas Dillard struck out to start off this game. His average at .302. A switch hitter for Ole Miss. One of the things I like about Thomas Dillard is whether you hit him first, you hit him third, you hit him second, you know he's going to be somebody in the lineup that they've got to really be concerned about. But he also does so much for you defensively. He can play all over this field. And I wonder what that does in terms of where you think he might go in the next level. We talked about him being a potential catcher type. Where do you see him?
A bit outside. How about that pitch?
I think the catcher position is where he falls. Maybe he hits enough to play corner outfield, but I see him behind the plate.
That one is off the glove of Nesbitt. Dillard rounds first. He's on his way to second, and he just racked up his 9th double of the year.
Well, I like him in the leadoff spot. I mean, if you look at the on-base percentage, you know he can steal some bases. It makes total sense. A little bit out in front of this ball. But, boy, it kind of goes down and just hooks it right past Nesbitt down at third base. So strong. I mean, just a hook shot. Nesbitt gets a glove on it. Ball gets by him, and an easy stand-up double for Thomas Dillard.
Gray Kessinger flew out his first time. 336 overall.
Yeah, remember when he got off to a slow start early in the year before SEC play?
No.
Not so slow anymore, is it?
You forget about that when you start dialing up SEC pitching the way he has. And the race is on for the souvenir foul ball.
Who's going to get there? Come on, sell out!
Oh, he did.
Oh, kick save.
Oh,
Nice
I like
play.
it. Sometimes you got to use your foot.
Yeah. Get them now, boys. Get them now.
He felt the dive
The
coming.
crowd is coming.
Kicked it off the fence. Look, this man maybe need to see a trainer. Vandy fan.
He just pulled an oblique.
I like the effort, though, dude. Sometimes you got to let it rip. Very Jonathan Dukoff-like.
You can't kick that ball, though.
Yeah, you can.
Not legal.
Yes.
That is
There's
not
no
legal.
rules about chasing down a foul ball.
If you're faster than everybody else and you get there at the same time, you kick it out in front, you beat everybody to it.
Kick it out in front.
Yeah, my man laid out for it, and this guy kicked it.
Yeah, look at him. He's the one out there just strutting his stuff down the
It's not
left field
legal.
line.
I'm just saying that's not legal.
You're going to have to show me the rules of foul ball.
Oh, I got him at home. I'll bring him next week.
Okay.
I got a whole list.
All right, so we got it's a pretty even match right here. Just kick that thing out front. That's the way you do that. And I like how he played it off the fence too. Like he saw his surroundings. Let me play it out in front. Played the carom nicely.
Yeah, that was intentional. That wasn't luck.
No.
Kessinger down the line and right. Kerstedt makes the catch. Here's his throw. Boy, he's got a hose out there and right. But Dillard safely in at third with 2 outs.
Runes, what you got, man? You like that play?
I like it a lot, guys. I like the high school basketball coaches where they tell you, hey, when we're practicing, there's actually no out of bounds in this gymnasium. So you're going into the stands after basketballs. I think those rules apply here.
That's 100% intentional. The Vandy fan is devastated, but give him an A for effort.
He'll be better for it.
Yeah, he just played the carom smoothly.
I'm not saying it wasn't a good play. I'm thinking that's a heady play, but it's not legal on the foul ball. You can't kick it.
You're going to have to show me those rules.
Yeah.
I don't know. I say anything goes for a foul ball.
He's just like, what happened?
Well, now, you know what? He's changed his whole philosophy. He was in the no-kick thing, right?
He's like, I've never seen that before.
Right.
He didn't see it coming. What he should have done was stuck the left arm out for a trip, right? Trip with the left arm and then grab with the right arm.
No, the Vandy kid had no shot.
If he'd have tripped him with his left arm, he'd have got him.
Do you see him? Sun's out, guns out. Now he's trying, and Vanderbilt's trying to get, like, hey, kick it again, see what happens.
Yeah.
Do you see that? Tyler, we have gone off the tracks.
It's early.
Focus.
Tyler Keenan fouls that one out of play. 1 and 2 on the 3-hole hitter. Dillard stands at third with 2 outs. Oh, a little check swing. Keenan running hard. Nice play by Kenley at second base. Nice play there. Also had a nice play.
Yeah, we got plays being made all over the field, including by the young man getting himself a foul ball. Do it, young fella.
Well, hopefully you were with us in game 1 today. We had a no-hitter into the 8th inning. But all that was for naught, because in the bottom of the 9th with 2 outs, Cam Shepard with a runner on, the walk-off 2-run blast. That's how we finished game 1. Nuts, exciting, crazy. Any adjective you got, game 1 brought it to you. It was a lot of fun. Now Georgia moves into the winner's side of things, and Texas A&M will play tomorrow in a loser-leave town. That one will drop in. Nesbitt rounds first. This could be a triple. He is going to be held up at second. For the 9-hole hitter with his 8th double of the year.
That's a nice job by Anthony Servideo getting over there quickly to keep that from being a leadoff triple. Usually in a park this big, and you got to cover this much ground as Nesbitt goes the other way, catches that ball deep and kind of slices it infield inside the right field line. He's thinking 3. Look at him pick up his third base coach. I love the fundamentals there. Pick up your third base coach. And he's trusting Nate Thompson to put the brakes on. So often we see guys come around first trying to look themselves in the corner. He picked up his third base coach. Nate Thompson put the brakes on. But again, credit Servideo for limiting that base hit to just being a double.
Trevor Ezell steps in. What a great story. Young man, after 4 years at Southeast Missouri State, transfers to Arkansas. Never played first base before, not a single game, but because of a shoulder surgery, he was forced to play nearly every game at first base this year and ended up on the SEC all-defensive team, having made only 2 errors all season long.
Yeah, when they found out he was available, Dave Van Horn made it a priority to build a relationship himself. And he knew how much he was losing. He knew he needed a veteran presence. And we're kind of initially thinking maybe second base, but he had arm surgery. The arm just hadn't bounced back yet, so he found a home at first. that guy gets it done, doesn't he? I know Tim Corbin was the coach of the year, but how about losing 6 everyday starters and 2 weekend guys off a national runner-up team and finding yourself right back in the national seed mix?
I mean, just some guys he just didn't know what he was going to have really been off the charts. Was it 5 trips now for Dave Van Horn?
5 trips to Omaha.
Just at the going to the College World Series. And, me and you were talking about the other day, the first time in what will be a Hall of Fame career he wins 20 games in an SEC schedule. And that's pretty amazing. When you go to Omaha 5 different times with the Razorbacks and had never won 20 games or more in an SEC schedule.
That one is fouled back. 2-2 on Ezell.
Of course, he went to Omaha twice with Nebraska. So 7 total trips.
Slow roller scooped up there and then botched by Keenan, and now they'll be first and third and nobody out. Scored a base hit.
Well, Tyler Keenan has been outstanding at third base, but this was one he wished he could have another crack at. Takes the proper angle. Watch him work the glove through the ball, and as he does, he's just unable to secure that catch. I thought he did everything from a technique standpoint correctly. It just shows you some of the tough chances that come your way as an infielder.
And now Casey Martin. Casey was walked. Came in to score the only run of the game. That one misses outside. Casey hit .345 last year, which was 8th in the conference. Also 13 home runs as a freshman. That was tied for 11th.
He's a fascinating prospect. I mean, the arm, the speed, the power are off the charts for a player his size, but he also leads the league in errors and third in strikeouts. So there's some holes in his.
Popped up to the right side. Elko makes the catch. That'll be the first out of the inning.
There's still some holes in his game, but professional baseball has to be infatuated with his upside. I mean, he's just one of the most talented players you're going to come across. Frustrated right there. Missed the chance at an RBI.
20 errors this year. That's 14 more than the next closest guy.
Yeah, that surprised me because I remember him playing third base last year, and it seemed like third base he was much better over at third base. Obviously a shortstop in high school.
Close play over at first. Ezell gets back. Ezell can run a little bit now. 7 of 18 stolen bases. Goodhart 0 for 1. Here's one of those guys you're talking about, though, that you don't know what you're going to get, right? I mean, but Goodhart has stepped up, hitting a 3-hole, 352, 36 ribbies. Well, now it's 3-0. And you got Dominic Fletcher on deck. Early in the game, you've got a solid hitter at the plate, 3-0. Do you let him swing here if you get one?
No, we got the big boys coming up here, so I think this is one of those situations where it looks like Phillips has maybe lost the feel. Make him throw a strike. Last thing you want to do is get a little over anxious and give him something here on a 3-0 count. If it was Kerstad, I might think differently.
– 90 miles an hour over the plate, 3-1. Off the fist. He'll try to turn two the hard way. Back to first. Safe at first. A run will score. It's 2-0 as Jacob Nesbitt touches home plate.
Yeah, Elko, this time he makes a play, quickly goes over to second base, gets Kessinger back, and you see the pitcher, Phillips, covering and just not quite in time. He's safe.
Nice job getting to the front part of the base there by Goodhart, and what a turn from Greg Kessinger. Phillips did a good job of getting to the bag and trying to become a first baseman, but Goodhart just in there ahead of the throw.
I thought Elko was going to come home, actually. I thought he had time to get the guy at home. Because turning that double play going to be tough.
Oh, he definitely had time. He's trying to get off the field, I guess. And
I didn't think the ball was hit hard enough to turn a double play, was my initial thought. That's why I thought he would come home and cut the run down.
That just misses to Dominic Fletcher. Fletcher singled and picked up an RBI back in the first inning. A junior out of Cypress, California.
of course, Fletcher's brother David plays for the Angels. Got some pretty good bloodlines going in that family. Some athletic dudes now.
Fouls that one back, 1-2 the count. Dominic's been on a little bit of a tear here, power tear, last 20 games. 6 homers, 28 runs batted in.
Yeah, you mentioned his big brother plays for the Angels. Had Mike Trout call up Dominic last year as they went to the College World Series to give him a little pick-me-up. That's got to be a pretty cool phone call.
Oh, yeah.
The best player on the planet calls you.
Popped him up. Is there room for Cooper Johnson? That'll be a few rows back.
You know, last year wasn't always pretty from Dominic Fletcher. Got off to a really slow start, but picked it up, ended up having a solid year. Had a freshman All-American season 2 years ago, and you look at the year he's put together this year with 10 homers and 50 RBIs and a ton of doubles. It's 3 really productive years and plays in elite center field. He's had a heck of a career.
He has 22 doubles, lead this conference, 9th in the country. Ground ball out to first. Elko, boy, he's getting a lot of activity over at first base today. Inning is over, but another run on the board. 2-0 Arkansas. One of those days, get you some ice cream. Get you a little spoon. Maybe you don't even need a spoon. Just get the mug right in there and get after it. Royals from Omaha. That'll be a lot of fun. Great for those guys out there in Omaha to get a chance to watch big league baseball.
Oh, it's going to be a blast.
That was always the cool thing for me when you used to go to the old Rosenblatt Stadium, was the Omaha Royals were there. And I remember going in early, working out, and they would be working out. I remember sitting there as a 19, 20-year-old kid the first time going, man, I'd love to play professional baseball one day. It was just a AAA team, but still you got to see the big boys work out. It gave you something to look forward to one day.
I remember going to Rosenblatt as a AAA player for the first time since having played there as a college player. And it felt a little different.
The ballpark probably doesn't look quite as big.
Or quite as full from a fan standpoint. Go there as a college player and see 25,000. Go there as a minor league player and see 1,000. It was a little different feel.
The road to Omaha certainly starts here. For the Gators and the Tigers of Missouri, they hope it starts here. They lost their opening game and head back home, and now they are basically left their futures in the hands of others, and that one is touched out to right off the bat of Zabowski.
Oh, he had that one.
That'll be out number 1. Well, the NCAA postseason begins with regionals next week. Don't forget the selection show coming up on ESPNU Monday, noon Eastern time. The Supers begin June 7th, and you can see all those postseason games on some ESPN platform. You will find them all on the app.
We got you covered. Yes. Wall to wall. And, of course, can't miss TV is when Matt Schick and Mike Rooney are doing the bases loaded. Runes, this year from Vegas?
This year from Vegas, correct. Caesar's Palace is in the mix. Mandalay Bay we're talking to. I mean, you know, you guys know we're team guys. We're willing to go anywhere.
You're all hard.
As long as it's Vegas.
Which could host, right, Runes?
Yeah, UCSB, that's what's reported. They put the bid in to host in the new AAA park in Vegas. And, again, Matty Ice and I will go out there and scope it out.
Of course you will.
Take it for the team.
That would be a fun regional. Maybe dangerous if you're a coach taking a team out there, but nonetheless fun for the fans that want to travel and the broadcasters, perhaps. I'd like to see that. By the way, I just want to back up. I'd like to see that guy, the young man that kicked the ball in foul territory. Come on, kick it away from him. I'd like to see how that would.
You're just not going to let that down.
Because you're not going to kick. You're not going to.
That wasn't a chase. That was right to the guy's seat. You look here. The bottom line is you're just not competitive enough. You want there to be rules, and you want it to be friendly. And you think he's worried about the fact that he kicked that right now, or you think he's just feeling good? He got himself a pearl.
I can't answer that. Not him. Out to center field where Fletcher is there. Second out. You know, we just mentioned about the Gators, the Missouri Tigers, and they're kind of sitting on the fence. They were part of the last 5 into the tournament. Some of these teams, certainly they are trying to figure things out down the stretch. You see Clemson knocked off by Boston College 7-5 yesterday. These bubble teams. Runes, of these games that we're showing, what kind of impact does that have on the teams here in the SEC?
Well, it's huge, guys, because it's the last look for the committee members. You know, they're wide-eyed on this thing, and they're a little recency bias. And I would tell you, if you're Florida and Missouri, a lot of your peers on the bubble are losing. I mean, I think about UConn and Duke that picked up wins. It's huge right now. It's changing by the hour right now.
Cooper Johnson smokes that one, but a nice running catch by Christian Franklin in left field, and the inning is over. Johnson can't hit it much harder than that. Kerstad, Kinley, and Franklin due up for Arkansas. This is so far the play of the game, maybe.
This might be the play of the day. Could be the play.
It's an illegal move
of the week so far.
Stop it. But a good one nonetheless. I mean, it's a heady play. I'm not going to take away, but you got the glove. Use the glove.
It's a low percentage. There's a 2-seam grip, a fork ball. Hey, it's a good day at the ballpark.
Yeah, no, isn't that awesome?
We got a lot of foul balls.
Some memories being made here at Hoover Metropolitan Stadium.
And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. It doesn't surprise me that the Mississippi State fan figured out a way to win that deal. There's something special going on with that program right now. Of course, Vandy's had a fantastic year, the regular season champs, but something about, you know, if you've been watching Mississippi State play all year, you've just figured out a way to win.
That country boy
just
figured
did.
it out.
You know what I mean?
I promise you. It's a low percentage play, like I said. You know, to kick it into the fence and get it on a slope, as Dave said, that's very low percentage, but it worked.
Oh, right through the wickets of Justin Bench. And then Kerstad Tripp coming around the bag. So the first error of the year for Justin Bench.
Well, Justin Bench just getting his 3rd start of the season, and the risk you take by putting a youngster in a situation like this is he ready for the moment? You could tell right from the beginning Justin Bench did not know how he wanted to play that ball. And lets one go right through the 5-hole to lead off an inning. That one stings a little bit.
In the bottom of the 4th. That ball's hit on the button, but right at Servideo. First out of the inning. We'll hear from Mike Bianco next half inning. He'll join Mike Rooney down on the field.
And, you know, as much of a struggle as it's been for Jacob Adams, just 2 errors in conference play. And there hadn't been much offense, even though he did swing the bat well yesterday. Hit a couple balls hard, hit a double, but the defense has been fantastic. But he gets a rest today as they go with the youngster Justin Bench.
Yeah. Well, again, I think head coach Mike Bianco is just trying to put some fire, just a different spark plug to try to get this offense going. Just something to get them going, because certainly they're quite capable of having one of the best offenses in the SEC. There's no doubt about that.
You know, Bench in high school recorded only 1 error from his sophomore to his senior seasons. He was a middle infielder, shortstop, second base. Kessinger doing it. Can they turn it? Yes, they can. How you doing, Ole Miss?
Gray Kessinger, ladies and gentlemen. Gray Kessinger is as good.
Welcome back to Hoover with Ole Miss skipper Mike Bianco. And Mike, you've known Gray Kessinger since he was a little boy. He is on some other level right now. What are you seeing from your junior shortstop?
Well, obviously, a lot's been said about the offense. He's had, just one tremendous year offensively, but don't forget about the glove. He can pick it with the best of them, and yeah, that was a huge play for us to get off the field.
So Arkansas, really good opponent. How do you get on the right side of the scoreboard here?
Well, we got to do a better job in the field. A couple plays we don't make, and they capitalize, and they score runs. And then when you get them, loaded up like we do, we had a couple of chances with runners at second base. We don't get the big hit. You got to get the timely hit against them.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Runes.
Thank you, guys. Boy, what a job by Gray Kessinger, and just by the nature of the beast. Had a chance to watch him a lot here the last few weeks, and he's just done this time and time again. I mean, it's stunning how many plays he makes. Tim Elko will lead things off. Elko, then Servideo, and then Bench. 7, 8, and 9.
Well, we knew coming into the year it was going to be a special group of shortstops.
Wicklander.
Oh, nice play.
Ezel comes back to step on the bag. Nice play by Ezel at first base.
That was a good play for a guy that hadn't played much first base, huh? Throw pulls him off the bag. Wicklander shows you a little athletic ability, but fires it over down the right field line. But Ezel off the bag and back on in time.
Switched his feet at the last second there and got back. That was nice.
Now it's Anthony Servideo.
Well, you think about the shortstops in the league. Shoemake, we talked about Shepard last game, has not made an error in SEC play. Of course, Gray Kessinger, Ole Miss shortstop, his first team All SEC. Ethan Paul is one of the top RBI guys in the league and has only made a handful of errors. Josh Smith for LSU is a fantastic player. Got a chance to be a really high draft pick. I mean, it is a
Brady McConnell at Florida.
Brady McConnell's had a monster year. That's right. Casey Martin was second team all league, and he got a chance to be one of the top players taken in next year's draft. I mean, it is a loaded group of shortstops in this league.
Servideo slaps that one through the left side. Second hit of the day for Ole Miss.
Yeah, Kessinger's one of those guys we were talking about. He's kind of tall and rangy, so it doesn't look like he's covering ground, but he really is. I mean, he's getting to the ball.
Did Cal Ripken, when he was shortstop, did he play a little bit like that, where he'd get the balls and just because of the size, you didn't think he'd get there?
Junior was almost 6'5". Playing height, he was 6'5". You didn't realize how big he was, 230 pounds. But yeah, he moved like that. But Junior was smart too. I mean, he would position. He always said, if you hit your spots, I will be in the right spot, way before there were shifts or anything. So, you throw a ball and you think it's in the hole, base hit, and he's standing right there.
Boy, Wicklander has misfired on a couple of those, up and away to right-handed batters, and that will get Servideo down to second base.
Effectively wild.
The freshman's showing us some things in this game.
I never understood how some pitchers do that. Like, it's like they can hit a ladybug in the rear end sometimes, and then other times you miss your spot by 5 feet. It's like, but as a hitter.
Wait a minute, let's back up a second. Let's just digest that thought. Hit a ladybug
in the rear end. Yeah. I mean, really. He can be that good. Look at this jump. Look at this.
Hope it's not in time with the throw. And Servideo with his 21st stolen base.
Casey Opitz, one of the best in the business now. This is a real catch and throw guy. He's not used to guys trying to take third base on him. They're going to take another look at this one. Looked like he was just maybe a little slow with the transfer, but a fantastic job of throwing this ball accurately. I'm not crazy about Nesbitt's fielding position there as he gets that tag. Look how his feet are this way, and then he's got to open up to try to get to the base. And I think because he takes a little bit too much time. See how he hadn't dropped that left foot? So now he's got to reach a little bit further. Servideo does a good job of getting to the backside of the base, and he is definitely in there.
And again, that is part of Ole Miss's game this year. 87th stolen bag of the year for Ole Miss. 21 more than what they had last year. And the reason why the offense, although the batting average is down a little bit overall for their team, the runs per game is up because of that factor.
Ray Gregson was all over that one. They're trying to get the headset situation, but this one won't take long.
Of course, the replay during the regular season was in Birmingham. They have actually brought it here to Hoover Metropolitan Stadium, the DV Sport monitors, and those decisions being made up here in the booth and relayed down to our officiating crew on the field.
Yeah, you see Servideo to the backside, to the left field side of that bag, making Nesbitt reach all the way back to try to get it.
Okay, now this is a serious question. You see the base runners now with the oven mitt type.
Yeah.
And they're extended 2 or 3 inches. I don't know the exact specifications, longer than the hand. And at times we've seen how close these plays are. That gives you an added advantage.
Well, and how long before they start making them oven mitts? A little bit longer with a little padding in it. Because if we're going to look at it on replay and when that oven mitt actually hits,
absolutely,
why not make it? Why not make it an inch or two longer, right?
I think the only challenge, of course, I never played with those. We weren't that cool back in the day, but you got to be able to hold on to the base with it. So however they make it, like, because right there, if you don't have a grip as you're going through the base, you slide past it, they're going to keep the tag on you. So it has to be made with enough feel to where you can still grab the bag. Because look, that's the only thing for him that's touching the base is the oven mitt. So he's got to be able to hold on to the edge of that bag as all his momentum wants to take him off of it.
These kids are getting so good with these slides, though. You know, it's like the left hand touches and they roll straight over the bag, the arms on it, then the chest is on it, and they hang on with their big toe if they have to. Never really comes off the bag.
Mike Bianco having a discussion with our home plate umpire Ryan Moorhead. Not sure what that is about.
Maybe about the pitch call is the only thing I can think of.
They ruled it a strike, the last pitch. 2-1 now on bench. Ooh, great to see him make that turn on that double play, Berkey, after botching a routine ground ball.
And now he's got a chance to get him on the board here. So the freshman getting some really big opportunities here early in this ball game.
Let's face it, he's in the lineup right now because he's wanting to back for this moment.
And this is the best place for him to be. In a position where he got a runner at third base, less than 2 out. All he needs is a ground ball to shortstop, a ground ball to second base. Just a routine, everyday ground ball. Will plate the first run and cut the lead in half for Ole Miss.
Draws the walks and out first and third. And you got the lineup to flip, and here comes Thomas Dillard. Dillard second on this team with 46 runs batted in. Dave Van Horn out to the mound, and he will make a change. He has seen enough. So we will step aside. 2-0 Arkansas, but Ole Miss threatening here in the top of the fifth.
Rest now? I mean, how many times have we proved it?
I guess I just never paid attention.
Well, first of all, the conversation is pitchers are the smartest guys.
Well,
yeah,
that's what Ben claims.
They also have incredible amounts of free time. They don't do nothing. I mean, goodness gracious! If you had the All-Star break in between every start, you could learn some languages. You know, study biomedical engineering. I mean, there's a lot you could get done with your life.
Thomas Dillard will switch sides and hit lefty against Copps. First pitch he sees is down and in. Dillard 1 out of 2 today. Doubled his last time up. Over at third is Anthony Servideo, who singled. Justin Bench walked a moment ago. He's over at first. Makes you wonder what you'll do with Justin Bench now as you go to a right-handed pitcher. You bring Adams back in. You pinch hit when Bench comes back up to the plate and let him play a couple innings maybe defensively.
Yeah, he's got to be feeling better about himself defensively. Make that decision at the plate next time he rolls up.
Sharply hit. That one through the right side. Servideo will score. Bench on his way to third. Throw is late, and that allows Dillard to get to second. So RBI 47 for Thomas Dillard in his second hit today.
Fantastic job. We saw Servideo already steal third base. The Rebs are really running the bases in this inning. A hanging breaking ball that Dillard rips through the right side. Bench, the freshman, playing aggressively, going first to third. Dillard reads the high throw from Kerstad. Nesbitt does not see him advancing. And the Rebels are playing a fast brand of baseball here this afternoon.
Thomas Dillard with 9 hits in his last 4 games, all in the leadoff spot. Now, I know you're only a leadoff guy unless the chances come back around, but still at the top of this lineup, he has found a home.
Yeah. And again, just look at the on-base percentage. Why not? I mean, it's not like he's a big slug when he gets on, right?
No, he can move.
The home runs haven't been there for him lately. He got out to a fast start with the home runs, hit 8 home runs really early. That slowed down, but the bat is starting to get hot again. On base all the time.
Now, Gray Kessinger. That one is tailing away from Dominic Fletcher, but he will make the catch, and that should get another run home. Dillard racing for third. He's in safely. Bench touches home, so now it's a 2-2 ball game.
Yeah, nice job by Ole Miss. You take an extra 90 feet when you can. Gray Kessinger looking for a ball up in his zone, realizing he's got the tying run just 90 feet away. If you get a base hit, that's icing on the cake. Finds a ball that he can elevate out towards right center field. Dominic Fletcher goes over it, makes the catch, but plenty deep enough. And Ole Miss has tied this thing up.
Well, and I give the credit to the freshman, because if he's scared, he stops at second base.
Right.
But on a ball that was really hard hit, he puts the gas pedal down and goes first to third. And because he's at third base, that becomes a sac fly. And allowed Dillard to go to second base, and now Dillard advances to third on that one. And so,
yeah, if you look at this game, if Ole Miss makes a couple plays defensively, it's 2-0 Ole Miss. I mean, Arkansas not even on the scoreboard yet.
Keenan misfires, 1-1 the count, 0 for 1 today, but 60 runs batted in for Tyler Keenan.
The kind of loss in all this is Zach Phillips, the pitcher. Yeah. Ole Miss. I mean, really didn't know what you were going to get, didn't know what to expect, but he's done well against a very explosive offense.
Another big swing and a miss. Looked like the follow-through might have caught Opitz. Home plate umpire Ryan Moorhead asked him if he was okay. Tyler Keenan with those 60 runs batted in. Swings and misses. That one's down in the dirt. Here's the throw down to first, and the inning is over. But Ole Miss strikes for 2, and that is our score.
I will tell you who's taking the next step. A beautiful crossover step that is by Gray Kessinger, who started a fantastic double play to get the Rebels off the field. Gray Kessinger, first team All-SEC shortstop, showing you part of the reason why he got that award, and also the sac fly to tie this ball game up. He can do it with the bat, he can do it with the glove, putting all his skills on showcase here this afternoon.
First team All-SEC shortstop. Rebels coming off a 2-1 win over Missouri. as that one is shot out to right field. First out of the inning. SEC Now is here in Hoover, and we'll be here all day with pre- and post-game shows for every game. Peter Burns, Dari Noka anchoring things on the set out there by SEC Fan Fest down the right field line. All the coverage you expect from the SEC Network, and of course you can always catch it on the ESPN app. Going to be crazy here tonight.
Yes, sir.
By the way, now at second base as Nesbitt steps in. Ole Miss did make that change. He went with Jacob Adams. Adams has been stellar defensively. Bench was in there facing a left-handed pitcher. Bottom of the fifth, tied at 2. Arkansas, the 2 seed, Ole Miss, the 7 seed. It's a fun little race down the stretch to see who'd win the regular season championship. Vanderbilt holds off the field as they just
too good.
They wrecked the league down the stretch.
The offense was just devastating. I mean, my goodness. The Austin Martin, J.J. Blade show. So we take a look at Adams entering the game. But, you know, similar to this Arkansas offense, you can get caught up in Martin and Blade, and they deserve everything, all the awards and all the attention they get. But Ethan Paul, Philip Clark, Stephen Scott, I mean, it is a loaded lineup for Tim Corbin's crew.
Well, how about this for Vanderbilt? How about 16-2 their last 18 games in SEC play? I mean, that's really a remark. I mean, and I know the back end, I mean, 3 of those series were against the bottom of the SEC in Kentucky and in South Carolina and Alabama. But still, you go 16-2 in SEC play down the stretch. Pretty impressive.
Well, one of them was a game where they had Arkansas down 12-9 in the 9th with 1 out, and Arkansas came back and put a 5 spot on them.
Right.
That was one of those 2 losses that you just mentioned. We got a really good doubleheader coming up in the second half of the day.
How about my man Zach Phillips? Threw 5, 2 runs, could have got out of all of them, but he's been good. We hadn't talked much about him, but we got a ball game. 2-2 going to the 6th.
Welcome back to Hoover. Arkansas skipper Dave Van Horn. Dave, Phillips settling in for Ole Miss. What's the key to getting to him?
Well, we've got to lay out that changeup. You know, he's drilled us a few times. That he's gotten a lot of ground balls off the end of the bat, zipping us with his fastball a little bit. It's not overpowering, but he's locating it a little bit. We had him on the ropes there, I think, in the 3rd inning. We only got 1 run out of it. It was a little disappointing, but, you know, there's still a lot of at-bats left.
What do you do with your bullpen from here in a game like this?
Well, we'll use everybody today, whatever we need to do. You know, we'll let Cops go another, I don't know, we'll see how it goes. If he goes good, another couple innings, but we've got, you know, 3 or 4 down there that we're not afraid to bring in. They're ready.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay, thanks.
Dave Van Horn, 25th year as a D1 baseball coach, over 1,000 victories. Puts in perspective what Mike Martin has done, over 2,000 victories at Florida State as he wraps up his career this year. Dave Van Horn, 17th year at Arkansas, 683 wins. 9th active head coach, by the way, to win 1,000 career games. It has been some kind of run in Fayetteville for that man.
Yeah, it's one of the great programs in America. I mean, the fan base, the facility that just continues to get better and better. We were fortunate enough to do that Super Regional there last year. That place was packed, and they were passionate.
Yeah, when it comes to playoff time, you know, it's as good as any place in the country for sure. You know, you talk a lot about Mississippi State, deservingly so, LSU, deservingly so, but when you talk about Arkansas, Fayetteville, they love them some baseball in Fayetteville.
Cole Zabowski right at his feet to throw down to first. Safe. It was right there in front of him and didn't see it.
And Cole Zabowski, he ain't going to win too many foot races. I can tell you that. My man lumbering down the line. But this ball got hung up right underneath Opens. He thought he went to the backstop, and you could hear feet call by the pitcher. Cops, but the big fella hustles down the line. Ole Miss finds a way to get the first batter on here in the top of the 6th.
So now Ryan Olenek. Ryan, another solid season at the plate. 356, hit 350 last year. And has closed out the last 2 victories for the Rebels.
One of the great lines I've ever heard in a post-game interview. Mike Rooney asked him about his mindset as a closer. He told him it's a dark place.
Runes, what do you got?
I talked to Olenek in the dugout about the hit by pitch today, you know, because he's got 2 jobs now. He's the closer, and he said, well, of course it happened in my first at bat, so I got to carry that with me all day. So the sarcasm was plus. I think he's ready to go.
But, I mean, it's a dark place. Ooh, off the foot of Cops. Struggles to get it, throws to first. Everybody's safe. Boy, Cops, that caught him flush.
Ben, I think this was one of those that really was fortunate for Ole Miss. I think this was going to be a double play. When you get the runner on first base, I know it was hit pretty hard. I think second baseman Jack Kinley's going to make that play, and it could be a 4-6-3. Instead, it ends up first and second and nobody out as it caroms off the foot of Cops, but I don't know what he could have done. I mean, in his landing position.
When you get a comebacker like that, obviously the body's in motion. You're falling off a little bit towards first base if you're a right-hander, and you always hope the ball comes up a little bit. If it comes up, you got a chance to catch it. If it stays down low around your ankles, it's almost impossible to pick that ball up.
Cooper Johnson lays down the bunt. Opitz out to make the play. They get the out. First out of the inning, but runners now at second and third.
Well, I tell you what, Ole Miss is playing some small ball. You saw the sacrifice fly, big base hit to get back into this ball game, and now runners on first and second, nobody out. Cooper Johnson's got some pop in that bat, but this calls for a sacrifice bunt situation. Look at the knee on the ground. The head is out in front, and I mean really a perfect bunt. He deadens that ball just enough, makes Opitz come out, fire over to first base, and here come the Rebels again, trying to validate what they did in the 5th inning. Runners on second and third now, only one out.
And Kevin Graham coming to the plate for the Rebels. He will hit for Tim Elko. So the left-handed Graham, normally their first baseman. Graham at .258 on the year. 8 homers, 28 runs batted in. Swing and a miss. Kevin Graham came into this one with a 10-game hit streak. But went 0 for 3 with a walk yesterday and snapped that, trying to start another one. Scroggins ready to go if needed.
Yeah, Scroggins, a young man that began the year for the Razorbacks in that weekend rotation.
Fouled off at the plate. He'll do it again.
Well, you can see Graham's approach a lot different with 2 strikes. He's spread out, not even striding. Now the idea is just to put the ball in play. Arkansas is giving you a run. They're giving you the go-ahead run. The middle infield for Arkansas playing back. Martin and Kinley stuck way back on the grass, which tells me just a routine ground ball to either one of those 2 guys. If you can do it, we'll give you the lead.
Keeps running that cutter in on his hands, doesn't he? Yeah,
and Graham's doing just what he needs to do, fighting off some really tough pitches. That's what hitting is about. Extending the at-bat and hoping the pitcher makes a mistake. Eventually out over the plate, get something you can get a barrel to.
Boy, did that one catch Ryan Moorhead?
Get him in the hand?
I think so. Right hand, right wrist. Hard to tell.
He's going to wear it. The 2-2 to Graham. Ground ball. That'll get a run home. Kinley throws to first, and it's a 3-2 Ole Miss lead. As Zabowski, who reached after striking out on a wild pitch, he comes in to score.
Yeah, just an outstanding job by Graham. First 2 strikes, he did his thing. Once he got 2 strikes on him, he spread out, he quit striding, and the idea was just to put the ball in play. And realizing what the situation was, runner at third base, the go-ahead run sitting out there at 90 feet. He hits a routine, everyday ground ball out to second base. All of a sudden, Ole Miss, 2 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, take a 3-2 lead.
And, you know, who knows, maybe Dave Van Horn felt like it's still too early in the ballgame, but that seemed like a good opportunity to bring that infield in there with 1 out, and Kopp's on the mound just throwing all those cutters. But, you know, wanting to avoid the big inning, keeps the middle infield back, and as you said, Graham did a nice job of just taking advantage of it. Hanging in there and moving the baseball.
Servideo 1 for 2. He's out in front 2-0. Three and 0. Kopp is struggling with the strike zone.
Yeah, he got off the fastballs right there when he got behind. Tried the off-speed pitch to see if he can get some rhythm going with those. Did throw 1 for a strike and then missed with the second one.
So here's Jacob Adams, his first at-bat today. Lined right to the shortstop, Casey Martin. The inning is over, but Ole Miss does take the lead. It'll be Martin, Goodhart, and Fletcher due up for Arkansas in a 1-run game. Should be a lot of fun tonight. Get to see Jake Mangum, the SEC all-time hits leader. His first appearance in 2019 at the tournament against LSU. That'll be the final game of 4 today.
Yeah, just a giant game for LSU. Not so much for Mississippi State. Most people feel like no matter what they do here, they're going to be a top 8 national seed. But for LSU, a victory like that would certainly, I think, put them there.
That ball was hammered by Casey Martin. They're going to say foul ball. Casey Martin thought it was a fair ball. He stops over there at first base. Hands on his knees.
Oh, that ball was touched. It left the premises.
I got to get another look at this. I had it fouled by a good bit, but Casey Martin doesn't think so.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh yeah, it's
over there.
Yeah. And again, we don't have an angle right down the line.
That ball.
But I had it fouled.
Blasted.
No, wherever it stopped, it's lopsided, I promise you.
2-2 on Martin now.
It went so far the kids don't even want to chase that
Yeah,
one.
they're
like, no, we'll just wait for the next one.
They'd have to pack a lunch to go find that one.
Get an Uber.
How about Zach Phillips still out here in the bottom of the 6th?
Yeah, we hadn't been loving on him a whole lot, but
Efficient, too. Just the 64 pitches.
there were some that thought he wouldn't do too well today. But he surprised everybody to this point.
You wonder how much longer they will let him go. A leadoff walk. Here's what's coming up. Vanderbilt and Auburn, Mississippi State and LSU. We've already had some fireworks in our first game. Cam Shepard with a 2-run blast, propelling Georgia in the tournament in the bottom of the 9th. LSU.
What we got?
Well, we frying something. You know, if they're from Louisiana, it's we figured out a way to fry ice cream years ago. We fried just a little bit of everything for you.
Goodhart out to center field. Olenek is there. He'll make the catch. How about the tournament tidbits? First 5 games for you. 2 walk-off wins, 2 1-run games, 3 2-run games. LSU was down 5-1 last night after the second inning. Came back to beat South Carolina 8-6.
Off to a great start. And how about the weather? Beautiful weather, great baseball. We got an awesome nightcap doubleheader coming for you. We got the Chamber of Commerce kind of weather this week.
Beautiful skies.
And don't forget, you know, I know Hail State's had an incredible season, but the Tigers went to Starkville and won 2 out of 3 there. So LSU got a chance to make a really loud statement with their resume. If they knock off Mississippi State tonight, 3 out of 4 against Mississippi State sure would look nice on that resume.
Yeah, LSU's been given up on by some people a lot this year. We're beaten 2 out of 3 at Georgia. Had to go to Mississippi State. Most people counted them out of that series. They lose game 1 of that series, but then double-digit runs against a really good pitching staff to win game 2 and game 3 in Stark Vegas. But boy, Mississippi State is a solid team. Do a little bit of everything.
Oh, that caught Dominic Fletcher right in the back. So a walk and a hit batter for Zach Phillips, along with that fly ball out. And now the Hogs have 2 on.
This one hurts here. 90-mile-an-hour heater, and I mean, ouch. High in the ribs.
Austin Miller up in that Ole Miss bullpen as Mike Bianco out to the mound. See what he wants to do here with the young Zach Phillips.
Well, 3rd time through the lineup for Arkansas. One of the top offenses in the SEC. And while Phillips has been outstanding, came in with a 4.73 ERA, more hits than innings pitched, and he's handled a really good offense at this point. But I think this is a talk. I don't know if they take him out yet, but certainly Mike Bianco's out to give his bullpen just a little more time. That's big Austin Miller down there, all 6'7" of him. 2 saves on the year, and he's been one of the most important guys at the back end of that bullpen.
When Coach Bianco would come out, when you guys were playing together at LSU, was he a friendly demeanor? Did he get after you a little bit? What was he like?
Intense, just like he is now. I mean, he hasn't lost that at all. Very intense, always in the ball game. Now, he liked to have some fun, but when it was time, it was all business. Just ultra competitive.
Heston Kjerstad 0 for 2 today. Heston hitting in the 5 hole for the Razorbacks. Came in tied for the league lead in home runs with 77. Had 6 home runs so far in the tournament.
Yeah. which is a pretty good number. Not like we had a couple years ago when it was just flying out everywhere.
Runners at first and second for Arkansas. The number 2 seed in this event. Winners of the SEC West. Ground ball. Foul.
Well, you can see what they want to do to Kerstad. They're trying to tie him up, and I think that's the proper plan of attack against Heston Kerstad, is try to get in there underneath those hands, and then if you speed him up enough, you can throw that big breaking ball down away from him, hopefully get him swinging over the top. You got to like the way Phillips is executed early in this sequence.
Through the wickets of Cooper Johnson. Runners will move up 90 feet, so second and third now after the wild pitch.
Boy, that is huge. Huge. Cooper Johnson, one of the best catch and throw guys there is, not in the SEC, but the entire country. Just a breaking ball down is where you want it. 1 ball, 2 strike counts. I'm going to bounce that breaking ball. I got to have a swing and miss in this situation, but Cooper Johnson just can't keep it in front. And Ole Miss going to play that infield back. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Out number 2 as Kerstad strikes out looking.
Boy, a fastball, then you bounce a breaking ball. Kerstad looking for another breaking ball on the outside part of the plate, and this fastball right on the inside part will hurt your feelings, and Heston Kerstad knew it. No chance on that one. Big time. Big time.
Jack Kinley looks at strike 1.
Man, you just never know in these tournaments, right? And usually to make a deep run, somebody got to step up, especially on the bump for you. Zach Phillips giving you the best start he's given the Ole Miss Rebels all year long as far as quality of opponent. You're talking about a young man just made 1 start against SEC opposition all season long.
But, I mean, and again, like you said, that's what it takes. That's what it takes in the postseason. That's what it takes in the SEC tournament to do it. I mean, look no further than Jonathan Dukoff, right? Young man came in hitting in the 7 hole, hitting 257 coming in, or 250 coming in, gets a 3-run homer and a walk-off for the Aggies yesterday. Outstanding play on defense today.
Kinley slices that one, it'll drop. That'll get 2 home, and the Arkansas Razorbacks are back out in front. It's 4-3 on the 2 RBI single off the bat of Jack Kinley.
Well, I tell you what, the execution was flawless against Kerstad, but against Kinley, that ball is out over the plate. And Jack Kinley, who has had a fantastic season for the Razorbacks, entered this game with 12 homers and 45 RBIs, gets 46 and 47. And that'll be it for Zach Phillips, who had a fantastic outing, but 1 mistake late leads to 2 more Razorback runs, and he will leave the game on the hook for the loss if his offense doesn't bail him out. But still a fantastic job by him in this game.
Yeah, and he actually pitched better than the numbers say he pitched. You go back to the play that should have been made at first. That shouldn't have been a run. We get a play made by Keenan that's not played. That's not a run. The ball gets between the legs of Cooper Johnson, puts 2 guys in scoring position. So really, he should have gave up 1 run in this whole thing. But the defense not quite as strong for him.
Austin Miller making his way to the mound. We'll update the change on the other side.
Boy, Zach Phillips real good. He gets Kerstad with a punch out, but this ball here catches a little bit too much play. Trying to get to that inside corner, leaves it right over the middle, and what a nice stroke by Kinley. He buries out to left center field, and the Hogs are fired up as that is a 2 RBI single, and the Razorbacks take the lead back 4-3.
Forcing Mike Bianco to go to his bullpen and get Austin Miller, the junior right-hander, 6'7", 225. Been struggling a bit since April. Was so dominant the first month and a half of the season with a 1.04 ERA, but has seen that since April 1st go to 5.23 overall.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's got to get going, and we got to talk to Mike Bianco on the set after they won yesterday, and he echoed that, is that, hey, it's nice to have Olenek out there in center field to use him occasionally, but he said, I got to get my two guys going. He's got to get, of course, Caracci going. He's got to get Austin Miller going. You know, if Ole Miss is going to make that run. And it's nothing against Olenek, but, you know, he's going to compete. I mean, he can really compete on the mound, but he doesn't show you the kind of stuff that can close out like Caracci stuff can.
So did he say he's planning on going back to Caracci as the closer, or just he's just trying to get him going in some role where he can give him good?
Well, he said if there's a closing opportunity today, Caracci's his guy. So Caracci hasn't been taken out of the closer role. I think it's a kind of a two-headed monster, and you keep him going right now. And the truth of Miller, I think if Austin Miller wasn't struggling too, then he could have got in that role too. But when you get both of you guys at the back end struggling, nice to have Olenek too, just kind of stepped up and done a nice job.
Well, Austin Miller's numbers on the year, I mean, he's making his 29th appearance. That's most of anybody on this staff. I mean, his ERA is still under 2.9.
Yeah.
But it's just been a struggle the last 5 or 6 weeks for him. But can't say enough about Zach Phillips giving his team an opportunity here against the number 2 seed in Arkansas. 3 strikeouts, a couple of walks, did hit a couple of batters. Houston Roth. The old just in case warm up. 2-2 now on Christian Franklin. Runner goes. Swing and a miss. Doesn't matter. Inning is over. Franklin strikes out. Miller with that punch out. Now 54 of those in 46 innings.
Last season didn't really end the way we would have liked it to, but it really kind of gave us motivation for this year and showed everyone on the team kind of what it takes to get back there.
Getting back to Omaha mean everything. I mean, I think I kind of took that a little bit to heart, knowing I'm going to be here for another couple years, and we're getting, Kerstead back and Fletcher back.
We're good enough to get a championship one day. It motivates our guys just to get back there, to have that opportunity to get back on the field and play for it again.
And they are certainly in a position to play for it again. Number 2 seed here at this tournament. 20 conference wins.
It's tough. I mean, what a tough year. I mean, you on the biggest stage and you're that close, and that's adversity. I mean, it's part of it. I mean, the question is, do you learn from it? How do you handle it? I mean, because if you accept it and you move on and you're better for it, it'll take you wonderful places. It really will. Adversity. It's a matter of how you handle it. And the Hogs have handled it as well as anybody, any team could have handled it. As Cody Scroggins is going to hop on a bump for the Razorbacks. Young man that was in the weekend rotation when the season began, but kind of fell out of favor. Patrick Wicklander took his spot, but there's his numbers. 48 punch out, 25.
Yeah, I think it's that walk.
Yeah. That'll get you in trouble, especially on the weekend. You can have some patience in midweek games with some walks, but in SEC play,
Cody can bring it now.
Oh, yeah. It's a good arm. The stuff, when we talk about stuff, the stuff's there. The stuff's not any good if your stuff can't get over the plate.
Thomas Dillard, 2 out of 3.
See that fastball up to 94.
Cody out of Bentonville, Arkansas.
That's just rearing back with a little extra.
Power on power right there.
Look, that's what I call a good old-fashioned country hardball there. Here comes my best one. See if you can catch up to it.
93 with a little move on that. Out to left field, and Franklin there. Out number 1. Runes.
Guys, I think the heartbreak is harder on the adults. That's my favorite thing about being around college athletics and college baseball is the kids are so optimistic, so positive. There's a naivete there, too. They think they're going to be in the national title finals every year.
Yeah.
But it's awesome. So I think the adults, it's harder on. The kids are just like, hey, let's keep playing.
Ruins, you've been on both sides as a player at the collegiate level, a coach at the collegiate level. From a coaching perspective, well, how do you try to put that in play in terms of how you get ready for the next season the way that ended?
I think the most important thing is you got to put it to bed, because if you carry it with you, they'll carry it with you. But if you can get past it, the kids will jump back easy.
I'll take that with me. Brooke, you remember that?
Yeah.
Well, and the good news for Dave Van Horn, he had a veteran team coming back. He had that nucleus of guys that really get it, coming back. It's just like Ole Miss. I mean, look, don't forget Ole Miss. Not to that degree, but top 8 national seed. Supposed to be really an Omaha-type team. They get knocked off by Tennessee Tech at home in a regional last year. You wonder how they would respond.
Yeah.
That's tough,
that
right?
One stings, too. I mean, obviously, Arkansas, you could talk about the way Game 2 ended, but they got there.
Right.
I mean, they're playing for it all. Ole Miss.
And Georgia, too. And it's almost like Georgia came with a little chip on their shoulder this year. They get knocked off twice at home against Duke in the same day last year. That wasn't supposed to happen.
No.
But it's baseball. At the end of the day, and that's to me why it's the greatest of our 3 major sports, because football, I mean, there's just not a whole lot of upsets in football day in and day out. It just ain't going to happen. You're like, Stony Brook in football, if they even have a football team, could never go into Baton Rouge like Stony Brook did a few years ago and knock off LSU in a Super Regional. They just couldn't do it. They couldn't beat LSU in Tiger Stadium in football. They could play 1,000 times and it wouldn't happen. But in baseball, it can happen.
Yeah.
Kessinger 0 for 2, behind in the count, 1-2.
Guys, here's the other thing. The difference between Arkansas and Ole Miss from last year, every season that ends in Omaha in our sport is a great one. I don't care who you are, but when you don't get to Omaha, you got a season of doubt. Why aren't we good enough? What happened? What went wrong? So getting to Omaha, you're having a parade no matter what.
And I think sometimes we lose sight of that. Only one team, right, can end their season, postseason.
Here we go.
Win.
Here we go. Here we go.
Oh, finish!
Oh,
we got a tackle. Now we got to see a trainer.
Dude, hey, what's up, man?
Was that Mississippi State versus Ole Miss right there?
Dude, you just tackled me on the concrete. Look, step my knee up.
We got Miss State and Ole Miss going nose to nose for a foul ball, and he tackled him.
Yeah. Look, he's talking smack.
That's what I'm talking about.
And he's trying to explain to his boys how he lost it.
The Ole Miss kid's talking smack going up the hill, too.
Let's go. It's the SEC tourney.
Oh, look at this. I like it.
We got the Egg Bowl playing out over a foul ball. Now, look, my man's closing. Ole Miss has got a position on him. He goes tackle. Get into it.
You know why he got tackled? Because the last guy kicked one, and he goes, "You're not kicking this one."
That's right.
We don't kick it. Calm down.
I like it. Look, talking a little smack.
Oh, he showed it to him.
He dropped a hottie toddy on him.
Now, next level would have been even after he possessed it if you went in there after him.
That's drawing. I mean, you get tackled on the concrete now.
Is that allowed, Dave? I mean, being that you have the rules.
He didn't kick it. That's all I know.
Look, he got the celly on his hip. I can't believe we haven't had a selfie yet.
Oh, yeah.
Look, he is feeling it. That's like Ryan Olenek Jr. out there.
Here we go.
I don't think anybody's going to be diving head first for that one. Maybe they will.
We got a little bit of a scrum going. Hold on.
Yeah, he made a whole lot of running wide open in the bleachers, but down on that mound out there on the berm.
It's no holds bar out there.
Mississippi State's got one, lost one.
I mean, he's got a little hop in his step.
Yeah, I mean, it's made his day right now. I mean, he'll be back tomorrow. I think he's going to get another one.
I never got a foul ball at a game, ever.
Expected more from you.
I got shut out.
That one might drop in off the bat of Keenan, and it does. So Keenan reaches with 2 outs. So Cole Zabowski 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. One of those strikeouts, though, resulted in him reaching base on a wild pitch, and he came in to score. The Rebels' third run, but they trail by a run. That one is shot into the seats.
Oh, yeah, nice.
That's good stuff there.
Made his day.
Mississippi State's got 2 now. That wasn't a scrum, though. There was no.
You can't count that.
Yeah, they really earned that one.
Oh! Scroggins in self-defense with a play. How about that one to end the inning?
Love it. Got to be in fielding position. Not only are we the smartest guys on the field, sometimes we're the best athletes, too. How about this dart right back at you at about 55 feet? I got you. Guess what? You're out.
Casey Opitz will lead things off for Arkansas, 8-9, and then the top of the order, and Trevor Ezell in a 4-3 ball game as we move to the bottom of the 7th inning. Dave Neal, Chris Burke, Ben McDonald, of course, Mike Rooney down on the field. But guys, this has been, we thought this would be a really good tournament, but this has started out, I think, better than any of us could have imagined.
Oh, no doubt about that. I mean, you said it earlier. I mean, five games, two runs or less, and a couple of walk-offs mixed in there. LSU comes back from a big deficit, and I'm looking forward. Vanderbilt's coming, Auburn, and of course LSU and Mississippi State, big rivalry there. That's going to be the nightcap.
I'm a little surprised we haven't seen more offense. You know, the conditions feel very offensive. Maybe it's just the pitching's that good in this league, but usually you get great hitting conditions on Tuesday and Wednesday where people haven't thrown as many aces. You get some big numbers. Now, maybe it's because this year we've seen a bunch of games.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, we didn't see this the last couple of years. We had, 3 aces go yesterday? Out of the 4?
It's Stallings, Mace,
Stallings, and Ole Miss.
Cole Henry went for LSU.
Will Etheridge.
Now, Cole Henry is an ace, but just coming back. But still, you normally don't see Friday night guys on day one.
Right.
And that could be one reason why, the runs are down. Typically, you're throwing a midweek guy, your 4 or 5 guy on a Tuesday. You get by, then your big guys start to roll in after that. But because of the situation for a lot of these teams, I think they had to go. They had to win.
Ground ball out to Adams. Safe at first. Well, I don't know if he can get any more routine than that.
Did it look like Graham could have hung in there? I don't know. It looked like he decided really late, just a routiner to Adams, who sails it a little bit. And see, Graham's foot's not all the way on the inside to begin with. And then the snow cone leads to a bobble on the tag attempt. But that's one where you got to have your second baseman make an accurate throw there. And so that's now 2 errors by Ole Miss second baseman in this ball game.
Nesbitt lays down the bunt. Johnson throws on the run and gets the out at first.
Yeah, I mean, and again, Ole Miss came in with a good offense, fielding 977 overall, 5th best in the league. But you go back and look, and there's been a couple plays that weren't counted as errors that have really hurt them defensively. And how good is Cooper Johnson on that play? Huh? He made that look. That's not an easy play. Cooper Johnson comes out behind home plate, barehands it on the run, throws on the run, and easily gets his man. But this Ole Miss defense has been really solid, and not so much today.
Ezell 1 for 3, the leadoff man for the Razorbacks. Single back in the 3rd inning.
This is why the scouts are so high on Cooper Johnson. The bat's starting to speak for itself this year, but defensively, he is really solid. This ball run away from him the whole time. Barehands it on the run. Watch him push it in the ground there. Gets a grip on it. A little sidearm action over.
How tough is that play for the second baseman, Berkey?
Oh, yeah, you're hanging in there with that runner bearing down on you. It's definitely one you need a lot of practice to feel comfortable on the back end of it. But Cooper Johnson, one of the best in the business. That one was a little further out in front of home plate than oftentimes you see the catcher go get it. But he called it early. Austin Miller gave way, knowing how talented Cooper is. He has no problem giving way to his catcher on that one.
Yeah, that ball hadn't stopped. It was still rolling away from him when he got to it.
Now, would you have let Bianco call you off on that ball? Or would you have gone in there and
I was
stiff-armed him?
I was always aggressive. Now, of course, he has priority. If he would have called me off, I'm out of the way of it.
Would he have called you off? I mean, was
Probably not.
Oh.
I mean, I think
I've seen it. I see how Ben plays when the ball comes to you. Like last year in the booth when Ben knocked me over trying to get a foul ball.
right here.
Yeah, just I've seen that in real life.
I always felt like if a guy bunted on me, he was doing me a favor because you're out. You know, I'm going to get to it. I'm going to throw you out. You know, and so you're giving up an out.
So you didn't have any yippee issues throwing the first on the bunt? Okay.
Pop-up went in the air. I called it until somebody else called it.
You know, sometimes you bring up a good point. How many times do you see it quite a bit during the course of a season? We'll pop up, middle of the infield, pitcher's right there under it, and you've got third base first running in. They don't know. They're not communicating, and the pitcher's right under there, and he's trying to get out of the way. I'm like,
and he gets out of the way of it before.
And as you said, sometimes they're the best athletes on the field, Ben.
Absolutely. Why not? You know, I mean, it's, you know, but I think, seriously, I mean, look, smartest, whatever. But I think it's important for the infielders to know what kind of athlete you got on the mound, too.
Nice play over there at first as Graham throws back to Austin Miller. 2 outs. But that will get Opitz over to third.
Here comes that man, Casey Martin. One of the most talented players in America. And in a league that is stockpiled with a bunch of dudes in the 2020 class on the pitching side of things, to me, he's the best position player prospect in the 2020 class. Second team All-SEC this year, freshman All-American last year, and just has some gifts that others don't. I mean, he can just really, really run. Arm strength is through the roof, and the power is special considering the frame. I'm interested. He could be like a Mookie Betts. You could see him end up playing outfield in the big leagues.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you know, does he stick in the infield? Time will tell, but the athleticism, it will play anywhere.
Yeah, that might not be a bad call in outfield because the way he can run, the way he can move. You know, in 15 home runs, if I'm not mistaken, 3 of those, talk about the way he can move, 3 of those home runs are inside the park home runs. You talk about get around the bases.
Popped him up. Graham makes the catch. Inning is over. Arkansas will leave a runner at third base in a 1-run game. We've played 7 here at Hoover Met.
Oh, wow. Dude.
Wait.
Dude,
little raptor arms
dude,
is what he just said.
Dude, he dropped a raptor arm on
Raptor arms.
Hold on, dude. What? What just happened? First of all, hold on. Let's start at the beginning.
Are you
Lucy
dizzy
thinks
from
that
getting
Ben
hit with the
McDonald is getting a pop-up over me, first of all.
A pop-up or a ground ball? Pop-up, you got no shot, dude.
Either.
Dude, you could jump 36 inches off the ground, and I don't even have to move. I'm going to outreach you on a pop-up, so that's out.
No, you ain't. Unless it's right above your head, you ain't getting to the pop-up.
You're going to get an elbow in the forehead before you get off the ground, and I'm going to catch it.
Number 2, Peter Burns just say I had raptor arms?
Dude, those aren't.
Is that what he just
said? He said raptor arms. I'm not quite
Meaning
sure.
what he does at dinner? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah. No, that's alligator arms, which kind of is a form of a raptor, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. But listen, here's the deal, though. I do think that you like to kick the ball away from other people trying to get a foul ball, which isn't part of the rule. Ben doesn't do that. Ben plays by the rules.
Sure. I don't have to cheat.
No. But if you want to go that route, Berkey,
But I get it, because you're going to kick it, because with your little raptor arms, you're not going to be able to reach it to pick it up. So you're going to have to kick it you're going to have to hacky sack it up in the air and catch it. That's where I think we're going with this.
The good news is I have enough belief and confidence that I can be told that like a 60-year-old will catch a pop-up over me.
Listen.
And that I have raptor arms.
Now I know why you played so much hacky sack.
Unbelievable.
Olenek safely on a wild throw.
might be one of the best things you've ever said. We talked about it. Casey Martin came into the game leading the league in airs, and this one just sails. It's almost like the arm strength's too much. He has a hard time decelerating the baseball. That one was launched. And Ben McDonald still can't get over it. I can't believe I can get over the Raptor comment. Peter trying to be cute.
This conversation is over.
No way. In your age, you're getting a pop-up over me. Ain't no way.
Dude, are you serious?
Maybe like in the 80s when you were playing for Derek Brown, but not today, man. That was like,
come on, dude.
We're talking about half a century ago.
You have to kick it because you can't pick it up with your Raptor.
Oh, my goodness. Tell you what, we're friends like y'all. Who needs enemies? You know what I mean?
Come on.
Cooper Johnson 0 for 2. Cooper Johnson hit on the helmet. Jacob Costy's shot just came into the game, and that one definitely got away. And boy, those are scary moments.
Yeah, you just hope it got him on the helmet. It looked like it could have been low to me, lower than the helmet, but I think it's all helmet. Still terribly bad. You can hear him say, he said, "I'm fine."
I was just bearing down on him.
Oh,
yeah, right on that ear flap. Yeah.
He got his head down, I mean, just in time.
Man. You see Cooper elected not to go with that new face guard that a lot of the guys are wearing.
You know, I like that face guard a lot. I think it almost should be made mandatory. I really do. Because, I mean, it's not getting in the way of the vision, is it?
No. No way. But that one, fortunately, did catch the helmet and not the face. It looks like he's going to be all right. That was scary.
Yeah, it ain't no way you dragging Cooper Johnson out of this game. You could see him right away saying, "I'm fine."
Run, make sure he's not dizzy or anything.
Yeah, that's when the trainer, you look at him, if he starts veering off to the right or left. Got to get him.
Hey, guys, I love how Mike Bianco's handling this. He's not taking a gratuitous yes from Cooper Johnson. I mean, he was really bearing down on him, checking him out. That's exactly the way you should do it as the skipper.
Yeah, I mean, today's world, boy, anything involving a shot above the shoulder area, they are going to be very, very cautious. Well, that's just a scary, scary play. I'm glad he's over there at first base. Ben, as a pitcher, when you see something like that, is it hard to come back and throw inside? Does it bother you any?
No, it never bothered me. I mean, I never tried to hit a guy there, obviously, and you never want to hit a guy. Now, there were times, I remember I hit Matt Noakes one time, the catcher from New York, you know, 0-2. And I tried to come inside on purpose to make a point. I came a little bit too far inside, and I caught him just like that and knocked him out cold. That bothered me a little bit during the game. But, you know, after the game, go over and make sure he's okay. You know, because your competitive spirits are going on during the game. You never want to see anybody get hurt. But it's different once, you know, their adrenaline slows down a little bit after the game. You want to go check on a guy.
Graham 0 for 1 today. Runners at first and second. Olenek reaches on an error by the shortstop, Casey Martin, who threw one over the head of his first baseman, Trevor Ezell, and then the hit batter a moment ago. Jacob Costi shock. He is the fourth Arkansas pitcher, 6'4" junior. Out of Missouri with a 1-2 record. He has thrown So a little bit over 25 innings of work, 24 strikeouts, 9 walks. And he gets Graham to go down for the first out of the inning.
Well, he missed a big chunk of this season, but they're excited to get him back and get him going because it's an electric arm, Ben.
Oh, he's a difference maker. You know, and if you can bridge that gap to get to Matt Cronin, the All-American closer on the back end, that's what you want if you're Dave Van Horn. Some guys, some setup guys, bridge the gap. And to get him back is big.
Anthony Servideo, 1 for 2. He'll look at a first pitch strike. I mean, here we are in the 8th inning in another 1-run game. This has been crazy how evenly matched all these teams are.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I thought when the season began, right? I didn't see teams winning 20 games. I thought the league was so tight that I didn't see teams running away.
If you hit 20, you were probably going to be the
I'm thinking
winner.
whoever got to 20 wins had it in the tank, right? But my gosh. Vanderbilt wins 23. They go 23-7. Georgia 21. And of course, Arkansas and Mississippi State both win 20 in the Western Division. I didn't see 4 teams with 20 wins or better when the season began.
Two and 1 on Servideo. It's 8th in this lineup. Jacob Adams on deck. That one misses inside. Now it's 3 and 1.
A little surprised that Graham didn't bunt first and second, 1 run down, nobody out.
I think it's a product of where they're at in the order. But I think Servideo and Adams have both swung the bat better the last couple days.
Well, you know, they probably handle it pretty good down there. They could probably get you a push bunt, you know, a safety squeeze or something if you got to tie it up.
It gives you so many more options. But to answer your question, yes, I'm surprised.
But I don't know how much Kevin Graham's ever done that. You know, just a freshman, probably in high school, he hitting a 3-hole his whole career, you know, and maybe not sacrificed a whole lot.
Right. I'm definitely surprised, but I think that's where he's thinking on that.
Out to center. Fletcher able to make the catch at the track. That will get Olenek over to third. So runners at the corners now with 2 down.
Yeah, and again, if you got a runner at third base right there, that's a tie ball game. I mean, Servideo has really swung the bat well. He had 2 base hits yesterday. He's got 1 in this game. That ball is crushed. I mean, he hit that ball 400 feet.
Oh, yeah.
Dominic Fletcher just smooth out there, man. He retreats to that baseball and finishes it off like it's nothing.
So now Adams 0 for 1. Didn't start this game with a left-hander on the mound. Mike Bianco went with Justin Bench. And Dave Van Horn out to the mound. See what he wants to do here.
He's going to go a little 4-out save, I believe, Dave Neal. I think his closer's about to get the baseball.
It would be a good time for him, to say the least. Matt Cronin.
Oh, I like this guy.
10 saves on the year. And so we are going to get a left-hander. And here comes Mr. Cronin. Against the SEC. He has held opponents to just 10 hits, 10 for 55, a 182 clip, and he's going to get the ball here in the bottom of the 8th. Earlier today, this is what happened. Cam Shepard in a tie ball game in the bottom of the 9th. A 2-run blast. Just the 5th walk-off home run since 1998. Here at the SEC tournament. Georgia plays 5:30 Eastern time tomorrow against the winner of this one. Meanwhile, Texas A&M will await the loser of this one. Don't forget, Vandy and Auburn, and then Mississippi State and LSU capping off what is a brilliant day of baseball here at Hoover Metropolitan Stadium. But boys, time for Matt Cronin, the junior left-hander, getting the call.
Oh, simply one of the best in the business. He is going to challenge with a fastball. It's a high spin rate fastball, meaning it stays on plane just a little bit longer than most fastballs do. And he has a ton of confidence in it. 35 punch-outs in only 24 innings pitched, and he is going to throw a lot of them. How about that? A little slap in the face to get you going, Chris Burke.
Get it going. I'm about to slap you in the face.
You better get on your tippy toes.
Boys. Well, Cronin needs to get 4 outs. I mean, that ERA of 2.25, but it's so much better against SEC teams. His opponent's batting average is outstanding. He's only given up 5 extra base hits in the 98 batters he's faced, but 4 of those 5 have been home runs.
Yeah. Well, and Ole Miss saw him a couple of times when Ole Miss went into Fayetteville a month or so ago and knocked off the Razorbacks 2 of 3. And Cooper Johnson got him for a home run, a long one.
Cronin did face Ole Miss back in late March, an inning and 2/3, gave up a hit. As Chase Cockrell, the senior, will grab a bat and pinch hit. Runners at first and third. There are 2 outs in the inning. Cockrell, first pitch he sees, foul ball down the line.
I love the move by Mike Bianco right here. I don't know exactly where he's going to go on defense now that he's used both his second basemen, but you get a chance to win the game.
Sure.
Cronin, a power arm. Cockrell, a very dangerous right-handed bat. You're talking about a young man hit 9 home runs for you last year. He's going to fire all his bullets here to try to win this game.
And if Cronin does something different, we'll have to wait and see. But he likes his fastball so much. I mean, we've seen him throw 25, 30 consecutive fastballs. That's what he does. The breaking ball is not bad. And why he doesn't throw a few more of them every now and then just to kind of keep the hitter honest, put a different thought in the back of the head of the hitter, I don't know. But he will challenge fastball after fastball. And I like the move, too, like you said.
Cockrell, though, in his last 20 games, just 0 for 8. In the team's last 20 games, 0 for 8. Boy, it's been an up-and-down career since he came over from Hines Community College for Chase. And he just can't get Cronin. He just struck out yet another opponent. Keeps Ole Miss at bay and leaves runners at the corners. 4-3 Hogs. SEC tournament here in Hoover, and always the race for the foul balls.
That's the play of the day.
A game within the game.
Extra effort. Got a little ugly there.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, and showed it to him. That's how I would do you, Ben. I would elbow you in the gut. I'd make the play, and then I'd show you the ball. That's how I would do you.
First of all, you would elbow me in the kneecap is what you would do.
Gotta be ready to go.
Took you a second to get that one, didn't it?
I did. I was just choosing whether I wanted to laugh or not. But that one got me too much.
Well, you were wondering, Berkey, what Mike Bianco was going to do with his defense. He'll move Anthony Servideo to second base where he played last year. So they do have that option.
And then Josh Hall goes to right. Well, there you have it. Plenty of options.
Miller stays in the game to pitch. There's Servideo. He's now at second base. And Josh Hall will move into right field. And for Arkansas, Goodhart will lead things off. 0 for 3 today. You know, Miller, who has struggled a bit, has looked very effective today.
And again, I think it's big picture for Ole Miss. They would love to do what they did here last year. And if they did run the table here, they could get back in the hosting conversation. No doubt about that, because the RPI would continue to jump with all the victories. But the reality of it, they came in already being in the national tournament. They're going to be in the NCAA tournament. They want to get some confidence going because the season did not go the way they wanted it to down the stretch. The last 2 SEC series, they go 1-5. So just to win a couple of ball games is going to go a long way.
So Goodhart with his first base hit of the day out to center field to start off the bottom of the 8th inning for the Hogs. And that'll take us to Dominic Fletcher, who's 1 for 2. Berger, we see Miller. You don't see a whole lot of guys coming straight over the top like him. What problems does that pose at the plate?
I think what he does a really good job of is he tunnels that fastball and curveball out of the exact same release point. So most pitchers are like 3/4 with their heater, and then they'll come more over the top for their curveball. And so you can really recognize the difference in the release point. For him, it is straight over the top with both, and he throws that breaking ball with a really sharp trajectory. So when he gets ahead with the heater, he can get some really ugly swings and misses with the curveball. Tough to differentiate between the two with him.
Pinch runner over at first base. Curtis Washington Jr. will run over there for Goodhart. Washington 4 out of 5 in stolen bases this year.
Runes, we're talking Ole Miss postseason. What do you think? You think it could be a good scenario for them to start on the road instead of hosting again?
I think here's what I thought of, Berkey, is 2016 Oklahoma State. They had lost a home regional, lost a home super, and you start to get mental about it, and they went on an incredible run to Omaha. So you can see it for sure. I mean, I think for the good of your program, you gotta get back on your own field and win a regional and put that demon to bed. But you know, a team like this that's talented and older and good, and they just haven't found a good streak in them yet this year. Absolutely, that could pull it together.
Well, Will Etheridge for him yesterday pitched exceptionally well. He's been their Friday night guy.
Yeah, boy, is he good. 7 innings on short rest. And the good news for Ole Miss is, look, if Austin Miller can find a way to finish this game today, get out of this inning, even if Ole Miss loses, if they only use 2 pitchers today, you got Doug Nikhazy coming back tomorrow, the left-hander, the freshman, who's been outstanding for you, and you got a pretty rested bullpen as well. So it sets up again for them to win tomorrow, even if they lose today, because the pitching staff is fresh. But again, can the offense get going? Can that offense start to match what it did last year and what it's done at times this year, you know, which has really been explosive?
That one misses. 2-0 to Dominic Fletcher. I mean, only 5 hits for each team today.
Pitching's been incredible. I mean, all day.
Ole Miss in a tight game yesterday. They win a 2-1 affair. Sent Missouri back to Columbia.
And that's the one that he wants. When he's at his best, he's getting chases at that breaking ball in the dirt. But that one right there just never gets into a competitive position as far as challenging the hitter's pitch recognition. And I think maybe sometimes the issue of throwing that breaking ball so over the top is commanding it, right? I mean,
no doubt.
Just get that thing going straight down.
But you know well as I do, you know, you'll get more chases when you're ahead in the count. When you're behind the count 2-1 against a hitter like Dominic Fletcher, an experienced guy, he's not likely to swing at a whole lot of those. But you'll get those chases 0-2, 1-2, but not 2-0, 3-1.
Boy, now the first 2 have reached here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And Mike Bianco out. That's what it looked like back in the day at LSU when Mike Bianco would talk to Ben McDonald on the mound.
I promise you, he's coming to the top of the bump. He's going to be there.
Yeah. 6'7" Miller. I mean, Miller makes Cooper Johnson look small.
And this is a chewing going on right here. This is one of them ones.
That's what it looked like when Coach Bianco and Ben were at it. Watch this backhand toss here in a minute. Look at that. Ah!
Behind the back with a little swag. Dang.
Yeah, he had it. He had
Look at Ben with the hand up in the air. That's so beautiful. Man. So they played night games when you played?
Yeah, they actually had lights. They weren't very good lights, but we had lights.
That's awesome.
And even look, some of the videos even in color too, which is nice.
Good.
So Houston Roth will enter the game. Miller, his day is over. And now a tough situation here for Roth with 2 on and nobody out against this Arkansas lineup.
We talked about it yesterday, Ben. If this Ole Miss team is going to make a run, Austin Miller, Parker Caracci have to start giving them quality innings.
Yep.
Austin Miller struggles here in this outing. Now they flip the ball to Houston Roth. We'll see if Caracci gets a chance. Roth, part of this bullpen mix that they've been relying on all season long.
So Roth, his numbers 1-1 on the year, making his 18th appearance. 37 strikeouts, 14 walks. Opponents hit .307 against Roth, though that's a pretty lofty number in SEC games this year. Roth with a 1.02 ERA and a .239 batting average against. So much better against SEC competition than in non-conference games. Vanderbilt taking on Auburn, the #1 seed and the regular season champs, obviously. Taking on the Tigers of Auburn.
And the rally possum on, Dave. What do you think?
I mean, we're holding on to anything right now, right? As an LSU fan, what can I do to get us out of this injury funk?
Well, the one thing they can lean hard on is success they've had here in Hoover. You know, this is where LSU's gotten healthy and gotten fat over the years. There's no doubt about it. They've sealed some national seeds here. They've gotten into tournaments here. They feel comfortable here. And of course, cooking down on the bayou is always a success.
They're always
burger.
undefeated.
Yes.
There.
We got like a little catfish there.
What we do with catfish? What we putting on it?
A little ketchup, like a little Tabasco, mix it with your ketchup or Louisiana hot sauce, dip it in there, set you free. It will set you free.
Do we put a little etouffee on it?
Yeah, that's a dish. No rice, just go straight etouffee over the fried catfish or grilled catfish. That's a good meal too. Fat-free, of course.
First pitch to Heston Kjerstad is popped up. Keenan at third will make the play. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Well, the Stars, Martin and now granted, Casey Martin has scored 2 runs when he walked, but Martin and Kjerstad have not come up with that big swing yet. But here's a man, again, part of the reason this team's in position to be a national seed is because it hadn't just been about the Stars. Jack Kinley has been really, really solid for this club all year.
How about getting 12 homers and 45 RBIs out of your second baseman?
He didn't have a homer coming in his career. You know, it's you just couldn't predict it. They thought he was going to be solid. Really thought he was going to play third and Ezel was going to play second. But Ezel just couldn't do it with the arm, so Kinley moves to second. Nesbitt stepped in as a freshman, 40 RBIs as a freshman playing third base in this league. That's what you got to have, man, to have a monster year. You got to have a bunch of dudes step up.
You know, we hadn't talked much about Christian Franklin either, the freshman out in left field. You know, he's been a guy, too. You didn't know quite what you're going to get, but he can really go out in left field. He can run. He's had a solid year with the bat, came in hitting over 280. But that man right there could have very well been, in my opinion, the SEC Coach of the Year, because you just didn't know what you're going to get. They're not taking anything away from Corbin. Coach Corbin, a wonderful job. You win 23 games in conference. You get the Coach of the Year, but Dave Van Horn, as good as anybody.
Runner goes on Johnson's throw down, not in time. So Washington takes advantage of the wild pitch, and runners move up to second and third.
Watch Cooper Johnson. He gets around this ball. Watch him. He gets around it, gets it going back, tries to get it back towards home plate, a little up the line. A beautiful job of out of his crouch and a strike to Keenan. But again, we see these base runners doing a fantastic job of getting to the backside of the base to make that tag. The time it takes the third baseman to get the tag a little longer and get in there just ahead of it.
Boy, base hit here with one out could really give Arkansas their separation as Ole Miss brings the infield in. Everybody toes close to the grass.
Wouldn't you rather see your third baseman get straddled the bag in that situation?
We've seen it twice today.
Yeah, they're just not getting in position.
That's one of the reasons you always say you should see more people trying to steal third, right?
Right. It puts the third baseman in a really awkward position as they run from their position to try to catch that ball.
They're going to come home with it. Safe. Kevin Graham at first base. I don't know, maybe I missed it, but it looked like he was kind of slow to get it going home.
He hesitated. He absolutely hesitated. And, give him credit for making the catch. But he was not anticipating Curtis Washington Jr. going. Watch this. As he makes this play, watch him just kind of hesitate like he was going to go to first, Ben.
Yeah.
And then that's all Washington Jr. needed. And then get to the outside of the base, get low.
Easy.
Just underneath that tag.
That's the whole. I don't understand the hesitation. That's the whole reason you bring the infield in. You're telling them what? We're going to make a play at home plate if it's hit to you, right? Exactly but enough of a hesitation. And again, he's a young man learning that position. He's learning a new position over at first base. But he's got to know. He had a similar kind of a weird play at LSU about 3 weeks ago where he caught a ball that he could have went and stepped on the bag, but instead he shoveled it to the pitcher and ended up getting nobody out. So it's growing pains. You see freshmen all the time in the SEC and in college baseball, growing pains.
Well, the play under review.
Well, he makes a good throw. Throws a really good throw, and there's the backside slide. And
I'm surprised we're reviewing this one, but he did everything right. He just didn't anticipate having to come home, almost like he didn't think because it was hit hard to him that they would still try to send him.
But the one count, that one count hesitation is the difference between outer safe and home plate. It's that simple.
(5-3) Arkansas lead. Berkey, on a play like that, is Washington is just in his mind, as soon as there's contact, I'm going.
Call that the down angle play. You get that sign from your third base coach. He's saying, hey, any ball hit that you think is going to bounce, we are off to the races. You're going to make them field it cleanly and throw an accurate throw, which Graham did both of. Unfortunately, the hesitation in the middle mixed with the speed of Washington Jr. turns into another run for the Razorbacks.
So Christian Franklin 0 for 3. Tries to lay the bunt down and fouls it back over the netting.
Well, here it is. Take one more look at it. You see Graham over at first base. Ball hit to him. I think there's enough time. Catches it clean, but right here. Right there. See the move towards first base initially. It's almost like he realized I should be going home with this. And that little bit of a hesitation is the difference.
He just did not anticipate them running on that ball.
So runners at first and third. Johnson blocks that one down in the dirt.
But the cool thing about it at first base is you have time to check and see, right? You come up, you're ready to throw in position. If not, you can walk over to first base and touch the bag.
Foul back. 1-2 the count on Franklin. Boy, if Arkansas wins, it would be the first time since 1997 that the better seed advances in the first 5 games of this tournament.
Wow.
But from what we have seen throughout this tournament so far, no lead is safe. Houston Roth, the third Ole Miss pitcher on the mound, took over for Austin Miller. Gave up a single and a walk, and then his day was over. Got a solid start out of Zach Phillips, though.
Yeah, they did. He pitched well enough to win.
Swing and a miss. That'll be out number 2. So Opitz will step in now with 2 down.
Well, I tell you what, 2-run lead feels pretty good with your closer Matt Cronin on the bump. But with that runner on third, an extra insurance run make Dan Van Horn feel a little more confident going to the ninth. But you got to like Arkansas's position right here with a rested Matt Cronin and a 2-run lead.
Yeah, and Cronin's been sitting on the bench for a while.
Opitz ground ball out to Kessinger. He will take it himself, step on the bag, but a run for Arkansas pushes the lead out to 2. Due up, Dillard, Kessinger, and Keenan. The top of the order. Is it enough for the Rebels? There's our line scores. We move to the 9th inning in a 5-3 ball game. Arkansas, your 2 seed. Ole Miss, your 7 seed. 5 hits apiece. Arkansas, how about that number? 32-0 when they lead after 8 innings.
That's not a good combination.
No.
Ole Miss 0-19 when trailing.
Well, it sure is nice to be able to say, hey, let's just go give the ball to Cronin.
And how, huh?
Let's get it to the house. 10 saves for Cronin this year. The left-hander closed out the 8th inning with a strikeout. And now we'll work against Thomas Dillard. 9 hits for Thomas in his last 4 games.
This is just straight up attack. Wow. I mean, that's just like,
what do you
good
do?
morning, good afternoon, and see you later. And when Cronin gets in the groove, like he's not trying to throw one out of the zone. Like he just keeps pumping them in his zone, even though he doesn't care. It's like, here it is, hit it. And now, obviously, as he starts to move up the levels, he'll have to change that a little bit because some big league guys are going to turn that around in a hurry. But still, it's a special fastball. It's got high velocity and high spin rate. You combine those 2 things.
With left-handed.
Yeah, pretty difficult to get a hold of.
He's just spinning it in there.
95er.
Yeah.
Would staying on plane longer, too.
It won't take Mr. Cronin long to get to the big leagues.
No. But he'll need another pitch. I mean, he'll have to develop, something to keep him honest. And I've seen him throw a few breaking balls, and it's not a bad breaking ball. He just loves the fastball so much, and why not?
2-1 the count. Gray Kessinger 0 for 3 today. 4 homers, 41 runs batted in. His average has dipped down to 333. It's lost 5 points. Foul ball.
The good news is if you're a hitter, you get your foot down and you go, right? I mean, because you know what's coming.
It's really very similar to Billy Wagner.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Wagner had another 3, 4, 5 plus on his heater than Cronin does. But, yeah, you just get ready. And you're going to swing right when the arm gets to the top of the arm swing and hope you run into it.
Foul back out of play. Now, if you're Ole Miss and you can't rally here, remember this: you lost on Wednesday last year. You went on to win the tournament, but
you didn't play on
Tuesday.
Right.
Matter of fact, 3 of the last 4 tournament champs lost on a Wednesday, as Greg Kessinger will go down. That's 3 straight strikeouts now for Cronin.
It's just elite stuff. And that ball, to me, had a little bit of sink to it. I don't think he throws it too simmer, but it almost looked like it dove down.
Well, Tyler Keenan now to step in. Keenan today hit by a pitch. Ground out, strikeout, and a single.
There's a breaking ball.
There you go. .78 miles an hour.
Yeah, but that thing had some depth to it. Had a little bend to it. They're back to back. How about that? I like it.
You go for a third one?
I think slow, fast. There it is.
How about slow, fast? 3 strikeouts, 4 total for Cronin. Folks, that is one of the most effective relief outings I've seen in a while.
That's slow catch up. Right, that is.
Right.
Slowed the bat down twice, and then 94 right on the outside corner. Not many better in the entire country than Matt Cronin.
Oh, his 11th save of the year, 4 strikeouts on the 4 guys he faced. That is efficient and effective, and Arkansas wins it 5-3 over the Ole Miss Rebels. That'll send Arkansas to the winners' games tomorrow night. Ole Miss will move into the losers bracket.
Well, chalk has held so far here in this tournament. The better seed has won every game so far, and 2 of the top 4 with fantastic performances so far today. Georgia and Arkansas both playing clean baseball, and Cronin just continues to dominate. Gas.
How about that? You face 4 guys, you punch out 4 guys. And not only is that 94-95, but it's knocking a little paint off the outside corner as well.